So let's go back. I got my welcome page. I've got get started. Now in get started, this is where I will create, let's say, a calendar. Now I'm just going to copy, give me a second, I'm going to copy a calendar from an existing course I already have. So just so I don't have to recreate it, I copied it, right? So I'm going to go to build content. Now there's a lot of things here, and I don't want you to get to any of these things unless I talk about it. We will do item, we will do file, and we will do web link. So audio, image, video, and all this other stuff, forget about it. Folder, maybe we'll do folders. But let me start by the simplest, which is called item. And this is going to be called introduction. Or let's call it hello, introduction. Okay? Or if there's terminology that aircraft people use, whatever. Okay. So in here, I'm going to write words. So I'm just going to do like this. Okay, because I think you know how to type. And this will just be welcome to the course. Thank you for enrolling. I think you're going to have fun with it, and this is what's required. So I would list my objectives here. Okay, I'll do that in a minute. But let me build another item. And here we'll call it schedule. Can't spell today. Now, I like this idea. Because your learner is at a distance, they're not in front of you, you don't just have a whole course open and have 3 modules and stuff in it. You want to guide them a bit. Give them like a weekly, almost like a lesson plan. Not a minute by minute, but by a week. So if this whole course is designed to be done, let's say your vision is 3 weeks. Reasonable learner of the audience type that you've discovered or you've documented. If you think they can do this in 3 weeks, of course they can read all this stuff in an hour or 2. That's not the point. You want to know how long it'll take to soak up the information, to register it, to retain it, to recall it. Finish the exercises, tests, quizzes. Well, if you think it's a 3-week, then I would put in something like a calendar. I'm just going to paste it. It would look something like this. Now, how did I create this? I used table. All right, you get the idea. So I'm going to say, by the way, I copied this from another course, so relax. But I'd say, okay, so it's a 5-week or 3-week thing. In week 1, I want you to be able to do this, and even a link directly to one of the modules. So at least a person has a guidance of what to look forward to. Now, if a learner wants to do all of it in 1 week, that's fine. Maybe not designed that way. If a person wants to take longer than 3 weeks, that's okay if it's an open course. But you're giving them some guidance of how the course was designed to be consumed. Okay? So I'm giving them a nice calendar. I've got introduction up top. Now, I'm going to go back here to the first part, hello introduction. I'm going to click the arrow and then edit. Now look what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint. And you remember, I also already had this stuff here. So why don't I just copy this, and I'm going to paste it here. So prerequisites for course. And of course, you probably have a nice paragraph up front. But there you go. There's my prerequisites. And because it came from PowerPoint, I think the font size can be changed maybe to 14. And take the time to make it look good, okay? Because spacing and things get thrown off. So that looks pretty good. I didn't, of course, introduce it properly like a proper paragraph. But I might go in and also put my objectives for the course right there. And you might have objectives for just the entire course. You can have then smaller objectives for each of the modules or each lesson. Okay, dig deep, do as much as you can on it. So I'm just going to paste my objectives in here. And again, same deal, just make the font a little bit smaller. Wow, that's 7 objectives, that's a lot. And by the way, so I know you have to put Bloom's taxonomy next to each objective. That's fine, that's for your assignment. Don't put those here. I don't think your learner needs to see that. Now, do you see the bulleting looks kind of weird because we copied, pasted it? You might want to delete the bullets and then put the bullets back yourself. Okay, these are numbered, these are not, just to make it look good. And maybe add an image. So, okay, that's a bit squished. We can fix it later. But there we go. So a person comes in to get started. They say, okay, that's good. Of course, an opening paragraph at the top. And then telling them, hey, look at this, and then go to your schedule. And then also tell them that, hey, we expect you to go to takeoff 1, takeoff 2, takeoff 3, 1 per week. And even tell them in your opening paragraph there's a help system, maybe your email. In fact, you can have a whole section here called Contact Me, right? If that's what you want. But some courses don't have that contact basis. So there's your basic right there. Not bad. Now, here's the cool part. I'm going to go to takeoff 1, and I'm going to start building some content. So let's go back to my PowerPoint. Let's take a look. These are my modules, right? These are all the different things that I'm going to do. And this is the first module called aircraft documentation. So let me copy this. Now, I'm just going to build content. Now you have a choice here. If the lessons within takeoff 1, the first module, if you're going to have like 20 different subtopics, like little snippets, it might be too much all in one area. So what you might want to do is create a folder. And I'll show you both items, okay? When you create a folder, you can put things inside the folder. And this is what these things look like. Look, I'm going to put an item. And we'll call this documentation. Okay, that's what it's called, aircraft documentation. Now in here, I'm going to paste those words. Now the colors came across, that's fine. Again, the font is a bit big, so quickly change it. Okay, I don't know, 12. I think I'm going to stick to 14. That's pretty good. You can put bullets. What I like to do is maybe put an image, certainly. And the image, of course, would be the one of the documentation. Now, let me just see if I have one. I do, right there. It's called documentation button, and I'll call documents. And description in this case, I mean, how else are you going to describe it? Document binder. Okay, let's insert. So, okay, that's not bad. And don't forget, you can use a table to move things to the left and to the right. Maybe I'll just do that very quickly just to show you again. That'll just make it look a little bit nicer. So 2 and 1, cell padding of 6. Click insert. Now look what I'm doing. I can easily just copy or cut and paste, and then take your image and reinsert it here. Okay. Now I wish I don't know if you can move it. Nope, but I can probably cut and paste. There we go. So we can change the size and so on later. But there we go. So I've got my first section. Check the spacing. See what it looks like. There we go. That's what a person starts. They click on takeoff 1. It's aircraft documentation. Awesome. But I want to add a second element. I'm going to put a video. Okay. Now you could go straight to video. That's fine. But imagine putting a video as an item just to maintain consistency. So I'm going to put item. And this is called aircraft documentation video, okay? And in here, I'm going to click the video button. Now, 2 ways to look at this. First of all, if you had the video as a file, an MP4 file, then you could just browse your computer, attach the video file, and off you go. And those files stay within Blackboard, okay? The thing is, if you have a lot of videos, then you might run out of space. And keep your videos short, so they're not going to be 2-hour videos, but sometimes they are long. So what you want to do is create a YouTube account. So if you have a Google account, a Gmail account, you automatically have YouTube. And don't be afraid, create one. It's good for you. There's a lot of good stuff there. But when you create a YouTube account, you can keep it as private as you like. Do it just for my assignment, for example, then wipe it clean. So if you had a YouTube account, what you want to do is go to your video, and there's always a share option. And when you click the share button, there's a option. The first option is to embed, and you'll get a code. You don't have to understand the code. It's like 2 or 3 lines. Just highlight it, copy it, go to source, and paste it inside here. All right. Now, if you go to general, this is where you can actually attach your document. So I'm going to go to browse my computer, go to where my video is, and see, I have them all in my folder. It's called Flight 1. I'm going to click open, and it will take a while. So the larger the file is, it'll take some time. Now once it loads, it'll show up like this. So I generally tend to leave it the size it gives me. That's YouTube proportions, but you can always change it bigger. I wouldn't make it smaller, but I think most users who have video know that they can always make it bigger if they like. Okay, full screen, for example. But you'll get to know your users, and you might want to explain that in your help or in getting started, that you can do this to your videos. Okay, and also instruct them they can pause the video at any point. So I'm going to insert, and it looks like this. So a good idea is to put a description of the video on the right hand side or below, but certainly you need to transcribe. So view transcript of aircraft documentation video. Okay, see, it's a full description. Now you can just highlight the word view or all of it. I'm going to bold that word, go up here to insert edit link, and I'm going to browse for the actual documentation. So it's session 1 documentation transcript. It's a file. I like to have it open in a new window so that your original course stays in its own tab. Now, you can also direct to if you had a file on your Google Docs or something, you could also link directly to that. So that looks pretty tidy. I'm going to click submit. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, so this works. Look, I've got aircraft documentation. I'm explaining some words to you. There's my video. You can view the transcript. Of course, I'd capitalize the word transcript. Now let's view the video, see what it looks like. Now you can make it bigger.
Prior to approaching the aircraft, you will retrieve the airplane's flight bag that holds the keys
so
to the
airplane.
airplane.
Stop it. That's not bad. So people are experiencing stuff, but you set them up with some words up front. Now below this, I want to put a link to a website. So I'm going to go to build content, web link, okay? And I'll call this FAA-US. And those people in the pilot business, the people in the aircraft arena, they know what FAA means. So the URL is HTTP, and again, you can just copy paste this, www.faa.org. I don't know if that's the right one, doesn't matter. Okay, done. And you could provide a short description if you like. So I'm going to say Federal Aviation Authority main website, and maybe put a logo of the FAA in there. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, not bad. I've got my words, a video, a link or two. I like to throw in some TED Talks, maybe some funny flight videos. It's not too much. I got 4 or 5 items. Maybe at the end of this, I want to add a quiz. Now you have a choice. You can have one big test or quiz for the course. So you can just create a menu item called test. Or you can quiz people in each module after each lesson. Maybe quiz them what they learned in the previous module, then quiz them what you learned in this module. In any case, here's how you do it. You go to assessments, test, survey, or assignment. Don't worry about the last 2. Now we're going to cover that off in a whole different topic, but if you were to put a test, it would show up right below here, and you can move these things around up and down. Okay, so that's a future topic, probably in the next video. So this looks pretty good. Look, I go to takeoff. I'm seeing my lessons. Now, let me show you an alternate. Let's say you have a lot of these things. For example, you have 20 website links that are all useful. You don't want a list of 20 things here. People don't want to scroll down. So in that case, you create a folder. Okay? It does the same thing, except it's just a folder. So I'm going to call this Web Resources. Give it a catchy name, right? And I could put a description. I won't. In this case, Web Resources is fine. And then you click Submit. So look what I get. I get a folder down here called Web Resources. Now I can move that up to the top. I can move it to the bottom. And click inside. And just like we did before, you can build content, item, files, web links, as many of them as you want. In fact, you can have a folder inside a folder and then more folders. But remember, don't go past 2 layers, maybe 3 layers thick. Users hate going into a folder, then a folder, then a folder, then a folder. It's discouraging. All right. Now I'm going to show you something else. Let's say you created a whole bunch of content. Good. Awesome. That's good. Most of the work's done. And then you say, you know, I think I'm going to group all of this stuff into a folder. I want my people to have this, then the video. It's doable. But then I want to move all these little items into another area. Here's what you do. You just click on the arrow next to it, click move, and you can also copy it. So if you had a template of a kind of file or a area on the screen, you can always copy it, make duplicates, right? But I'm going to move it, browse. I'm going to move it from where it is to a folder called Web Resources. Submit, and look what happened. It moved inside Web Resources, okay? And I could build another one. I'll do that quickly, web link. And I'll call this CAA. I'm not sure if that exists, but http www.caa.org. Wouldn't it be cool if you can call CAA if your plane broke down? And it appears as a web link here. So sometimes I like to put the logos, FAA logo, CAA logo. And I think for the purposes of my assignment, if it looks cool, do it. Just give a reference to where you grabbed the logo from. But in real life, of course, you want to ask for permission. So for example, if you're doing this for a company and you want to explain to people how your main supplier, what the link is for them, how to use that supplier, I'm sure the supplier is not going to mind if you stuck their logo right inside here. It just looks cool. So if you continue building the same way, takeoff 2, takeoff 3 in your help screen, wow. Now, is there more? Of course there are more. You can change colors and etc. Add users. Those are future videos, okay? Now, notice takeoff 1, 2 are not 2 and 3 are not available because I haven't put anything in them. Now, for the purposes of my assignment, you don't have to build takeoff 2, takeoff 3. What you have to do is build the first module completely and all the lessons within it. Complete with the full transcript of your first video. So if you're using 6 videos, you don't have to transcribe all 6 for me. Not for my assignment. In real life, yeah. Okay? But you do need a welcome screen. You do need a get started or how to start the course or how to about the course. You should have a help screen. Everybody could use help. And you have to fully build the first module. Now, what I need you to do for the other modules is at least put the titles here. That doesn't take long. Click in it and at least create items for the other subtitles. There doesn't have to be anything in it, but I want to see a structure of your topics. So if you've already written your sections and your subtopics down on paper, it does not take long to build it here. Just the titles. Now, as you finish and you might have, let's say, an hour available one day, you might say, you know what, I'm going to build number 2 and I'm going to build number 3. In fact, half of my projects are done that way. People just build the whole thing. But I'm only requiring the first. I promise you I will not judge. But if I go to takeoff 2 and there's nothing here, that's not good. I can easily just put in an item. Here, I'll do it. Okay, and here it's called safety checklist. Right? Same as I did before, blah, blah, little explanation. Copy, paste if you like. The thing is, I don't really need the explanation. I just need the title. And then maybe put in, same thing we did here. So safety, checklist, video. You know you're going to do it. And then just insert the same video again. Or maybe just have a black box that looks like a video and put the words video coming soon. That doesn't take long. Right? Just insert a box that looks like a video. So when I look at it, I'm going to see all of takeoff 1 built. That's cool. I love it. I go to takeoff 2. At least I see a list of things. And it wouldn't hurt you to throw in a couple of web links. Maybe just an area that says quiz will go here. So I get a sense of what the structure is, okay? So in the next video, we're going to talk about quizzes, assessments, and a few other things.